This is Chelsea Hapner, and I will be continuing our presentation with what do you do after receiving a grant? A grant award is a complex affair that brings together the missions, policies, and procedures of at least two organizations. So it's not just a matter of receiving the grant and going to work. There are things to consider, like giving thanks, reviewing the compliance requirements, negotiating budgets, negotiating award terms, and management. First, we will start with giving thanks. Thank those who helped you with your proposal. You should have already done this, but if not, this would be a good time to make sure. Also, and very important, you will need to send a handwritten, preferably, thank you letter to the program officer. It is important to start and continue your relationship with your sponsor on a good note. Next, you will review compliance requirements for the grant, especially if dealing with research. Be aware of any compliance requirements that may apply to your work, like conflict of interest, human subjects, export controls. You must ensure that funds are spent in accordance with the budget provided in a grant application. Be ready to supply just-in-time information if not already submitted. Many compliance requirements are referred to as just-in-time information, and it used to be submitted at the time of the proposal submission. In an effort to eliminate unnecessary work on proposals that didn't end up being funded, these requirements were moved to the point of the award. So, make sure to finalize any research compliance approvals, if not before submission, but immediately after, in the limbo of waiting for the award. Negotiating the budget. You are responsible to manage the budget, spending only on allowable costs and in keeping with the budget you negotiated. Do not complete and deliver the work for a grant project before the award documents have been signed by both parties. You doing the work before there is an award agreement in place puts you and your institution at risk of not getting paid, and this has happened before. Many times a sponsor may only pay a part of your budget request. Keep in mind that this is likely, so then you will carefully have to consider which elements to drop from your project if you're able to. However, do not attempt to complete a whole project as proposed without an adequate budget. This tells your sponsor that you asked for more than you needed and thus lied, or that you just have no idea what you're doing. Negotiating award terms. Who negotiates the pragmatic and technical aspects of the project will be you and most likely another individual in the sponsored program's office. These terms include publishing rights for the work, patents, and your ability to retain your intellectual property. Make sure to read award documents and be sure to understand them before accepting the sponsor's money. You don't know what they may have in there, and you don't need to get yourself stuck in a corner limiting your ability to work in your field. Make awards to your institution rather than to yourself personally. By doing this, sponsors deal with the institution on these issues of legal and fiscal compliance, leaving you to focus your time and attention on the work. And then other award terms include statement of work. It's referencing the proposal as the scope of work for the project, the period of performance. Every award has a definite start and end date, the project costs, awards, the proposal budget. Other things like records. Sponsors generally require you to retain financial and scientific records. You need to keep your sponsors in the loop by delivering reports. Publication is another one, and it's common practice to give sponsors notice that you intend to publish, many times requesting you note their funding in your publications. Lastly, management. Your role as a leader in managing the people, the money, the data, and the sponsor relationships associated with your project. You need to ensure, with people, hiring people to work on your project will be among one of the most important decisions you make. Furthermore, ensuring that they and everyone else that's involved knows their responsibilities and the timeline for meeting them. So include reporting deadlines. Also set priorities. Break large tasks into a series of smaller ones. With money, verify expenses charged to your award each month. Keep track of projects budget each month. Ultimately, you're responsible regardless if you have others helping you. With your data, awards are generally made to institutions, not to individual researchers. Institutions have obligations for data management and have rights and duties to retain control over research data produced by their employees, i.e. you. This means your institution may have standards and resources available to assist you in managing your data. Some advice would be to begin tracking operational data of your project right away. Finally, your sponsor relationship is very important. Keep them in the loop with reports. Keep in mind that the award will, with any luck, be just one step in a long relationship with the sponsor. Invite funders to program-related events and give recognition to funders whenever applicable. Now, to conclude, statistically, proposals are turned down when they are first submitted. Man. So be prepared for this and review with your team what could have been done better or what should have been added. Often the grant personnel who deny your proposal will give you the reasons why it wasn't accepted. So fix these issues and have your grant document easily accessible so that you can just click on the document, change what needs to be changed, and then resubmit it. Some reasons why your grant may not be accepted are sponsors match. It may mean that the sponsor didn't learn enough about the agency or funding opportunity, but it may also mean that you failed to convey the connection between your project and the agency's goals. However, your proposal may come off as too ambitious. It may have failed to convey that you fully understand the scope of work that your project entails. Adequate resources may be an issue. You do not convey that your institution will be able to provide adequate support. So a way to help this is to include letters of commitment. Other things are you didn't adequately justify your budget request, you failed to include measurable outcomes, or they claim you were planning in isolation where you're too focused on your own work, you didn't cite literature, or didn't give credit to others. Either way, always be prepared and never give up. You never know. Thank you.